It's common knowledge on my channel that I grew up playing the PlayStation 1 and 2, where I fell in love with games like Crash Bandicoot, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Spyro the Dragon. I never really dabbled in things Nintendo or Sega until I was about 12, 13, 14, roughly there in that time, where I met a really close childhood friend of mine who introduced me to Sonic Adventure 2. And that for me was one of the greatest discoveries of my life. Being able to play a game like Super Mario 64 or Sonic Adventure 2 for a kid who grew up on a game like Crash Bandicoot really meant a lot to me. But the thing I find with my preference in the Sonic or Mario debate is I personally just prefer Sonic. Hands down, I think Sonic is a better character, and the line of games that he has are a much better outline and forefront than what Mario offers. Now, the one exception I will make to the Mario side of things is Mario Kart and Party. Those games I think are top tier. You can't replicate Mario Kart and Mario Party in the same way that the Mario franchise has managed to develop it and actually make it a standalone and really iconic series in itself. But for me, Sonic just appeals more, to put it bluntly, I guess. Recently, I've been having a bit of a binge when it comes to Sonic games. I recently bought Sonic Mania Colors and Generations. I own the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed, although I did finish it on the PlayStation 3 when I was growing up and the game released, and I got it on sale that very same day, which was really nice. I've played Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on the emulators that I have on my PC. I was going to say the Dreamcast, but I don't know if it was on the Dreamcast, so people please help me out there. But I definitely have played them both. I've played the spin-off title for Shadow the Hedgehog. I have played Sonic Forces, and I want to play the new one, Sonic Frontiers, at some point during the next month or so. Just depends on when I want to do it. But for me, what really separates Sonic from a series that I've liked, like Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, is the authenticity and the adrenaline rush and the excitement of speeding through levels at a rapid rate. I mean, as you're seeing on the screen, this is footage of me playing as quote-unquote older Sonic in Sonic Generations, and this is the first Green Hill stage of the game, or the second, because it's technically Act 2, but it isn't. But there's just the advent of you going so fast and you just zip through the level and you can just not have a care in the world. You can just go forward, or in this case sideways. If you're playing a side-scrolling Sonic game, you just go sideways, you collect rings, you get lives, and you just breeze through levels as fast as you can to get the best rank possible. Sometimes you may be halted by an enemy or an obstacle, which I have done a few times, but personally, I can live by that. And what separates that to a game like Crash Bandicoot or Mario 64 or Spyro is the difference between those games and Sonic is the advent of platforming. Sonic, for me, doesn't really revolve around platforming as much as other games would. So for Crash Bandicoot, the whole game's core mechanic and playstyle is based on the what's the word I'm looking for? The mapping of each level, the obstacles and the setting and the environment. Like, you have to jump on certain things to avoid certain things. Where in Sonic, it's like you can go so fast, jump on an enemy's head, and you go even further. You can avoid half of the map if you just choose one pathway that you'll find on one route, and then the next route you'll find a new pathway, which opens up a whole bunch of things. And when was the last time you seen a blue hedgehog run that fast and grind on rails getting chased by mechanical fish? That just, for me, doesn't really come better than that. It just really separates it from every other game in its respected genre as a 3D platformer with a huge mascot, because we can't deny the fact that Sonic as a character is one of the most iconic video game characters of all time, with the likes of Mario, even some Resident Evil, Silent Hill characters like Leon Kennedy, Harry Mason for the memes. If you know who he is, you know who he is. But it's really hard to explain this without sounding like dull towards the Mario community, because I love some Mario games like Super Mario Galaxy, 3D World, even Super Mario RPG, like the Paper Mario, I think it was called, something like that. That was really fun for me. I really enjoyed that. But for me, I can't pick up a Mario game as in a platforming game and just like have fun with it, if that makes sense. I can't just go into a session on Mario Kart, on Mario, and go through it and just breeze it and have a good time. I can only do that if it's co-op, and for me, Sonic doesn't need the advent of co-op. The only issue I have with the Sonic game is it doesn't have enough capacity to be co-op, if that makes sense. Like, you can both go through a level one at a time, but you'll find with games like Mario, where it is co-op based, some of the older titles, especially like around the time of Sonic blowing up and whatnot, when multiplayer was first being added to games like local play, split screen, couch gaming and whatnot. The issue is in Mario, the case was you both had to be on the screen, otherwise you'd die, pretty much. It's the same with a game like Rayman. If you've played Rayman 1 on the PS1, I'll put some background footage of it anyway, but if you go off the screen, or like stay near the left side of the screen while you're on a certain stage, you will just get kill zoned, because there's a hitbox there for pretty much imitates you hitting the floor and dying. So that's the only issue I have when it comes to Sonic games being like more locally based. I mean, the last multiplayer game that I can remember playing was, I think, Sonic 06 had multiplayer, but Sonic 06 is just, we're going to talk about Sonic 06, but that was like one of the big games that like I looked at it and said I just like Sonic as a character. But I guess Sonic 06 isn't the best introduction to the series for me. The first game I ever played, and it will always be near and dear to my heart, God rest his soul, because my dad really loved this game as well, is Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes, I don't want to hear any slander about Sonic Heroes in terms of how impactful it was for the series. I really enjoyed Sonic Heroes, and to the Sonic fans out there who watch this video, I just want to be welcomed into your community, because I don't want to cause any drama by saying I really enjoyed Sonic Heroes. I just want to have a good understanding of where I would stand if I were to be in the Sonic fandom, which I do want to be in, hence this video. But it's not a case of me bashing the Mario community, because the Mario community as well, I understand the appeal. I get the idea of playing a Mario platformer and having fun and enjoying yourself, because it's one of the staples of platformers. If you enjoy going through levels, jumping around, hitting enemies every now and then, solving puzzles and whatnot, then Mario is definitely going to be a thing for you. And with the addition of power-ups as well, it really helps. But in terms of Mario versus Sonic's roster of characters as well, not even just mentioning the main two protagonists in the Blue Hedgehog and the Italian plumber, the supporting characters, for me, I tend to favour more towards Sonic more than Mario, but there are some key Mario characters in it that I really enjoy, like Princess Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, even Luigi. Luigi is by far, I'll say it, and I'll say it to the end of my lifetime, Luigi absolutely bodies Mario in any situation. Like, I could rather play Luigi's Mansion full, like, in one session than play a Mario game, just because I like Luigi as a character. But for Sonic, you have characters like Knuckles, Biggie the Cat, Victor, I think his name is, or Vector the Crocodile, Rouge the Bat, Knuckles, Tails, Amy, Shadow. Shadow is one of the most iconic characters in video game history. He's the coolest, most badass guy going. They gave him a fucking machine gun in his own game. When do you see that happening in Mario? When is Yoshi going to come up with a Glock 18, peek around a corner like in Siege, and just go, bunk, kill him? You ain't going to do that. But I just wanted to rant about it, to be honest. And to the Sonic community out there, I hope you take this with a pinch of salt when I say that Sonic games are just much better than Mario games. But the only thing I want to change about Sonic games is the idea of multiplayer being a more mainstream thing. Because the only like games I can think of off the top of my head, based on rough memory of playing Sonic games, Team Sonic Racing and Sega Superstars Racing Transformers, I think it was called something like that. All the racing Sonic games are really fun, but again, it's Mario Kart is just so much clearer. But overall, I think Sonic is a much better video game series. For me personally, you have your own opinion. You can argue with me in the comments if you want to, but for me personally, Sonic outshines everyone in terms of platformers, although Crash Bandicoot is going to stay in my heart just for the sentimental value of me growing up with the game, but it doesn't stay away from the fact that Sonic is, in my opinion, just better than Mario and a really, really fucking fun video game franchise. And I hope they go back to the roots one day and try and just make it ground level again. But I've heard good things about Frontiers, so when I play that, I will let you know and give it a review. But until then, stay safe everyone, and just be you. See you later.